thank you so much for you guys who are just tuning in. We're going to get now into the Jasmy coverage that we have tonight. Let's give a shout once again to the one and only Mr. Neutrix. And here it is, straight from him. This is a project I covered in the past in regards to a partnership with Jasmy, and it's Aplix. Now, why am I bringing this up again? Well, let's get into it. So for one, Neo talks specifically about Neutrix Cloud. No, not NeoXTrix Cloud. Neutrix Cloud, adopted by Jasmy, is compatible with a wide range of data. Now, I want you guys to hear this for a second. This includes large data, such as video and audio data. Now, you guys know I hold a lot of, for instance, Filecoin. If anything, I'm totally sold on the whole concept of certain cryptocurrencies and when it comes to data. But when it comes to Jasmy, let's face it, data all the way. I mean, personal data locker, right? But you also like the idea that Jasmy doesn't just boast the whole notion of hey, you got to have a personal data locker, and how that's also going to, be paired up with, for instance, Japanese yen denominated stable coins for the betterment of society, right? Helping the economy and so on. But you also like the idea of them being connected to certain cloud services. Shout out to Mr. Tim Shea introduced Flux to us. And we understand that, like, Flux, for instance, is literally a great solution that competes with the centralized entities of Amazon Web Services, Google Web Services, right? Or cloud services, excuse me. But what about the whole thing of Jasmy in regards to Neutrix Cloud? So, yes, very compatible with video, audio data, and not just, small data, but large data. This is why I mentioned the whole thing with Filecoin, right? So it also is compatible with the strictest security standards, such as this particular ISO standard, because we're always talking about ISO standards, ISO 222, ISO TC 307, the quant network standard. But what about this particular standard, ISO 27001? Now, NeoXTrix points out the adoption of Aplix's Neutrix Cloud multi-cloud storage solution for its personal data locker. So combining, right, cloud services with the PDL. Do I not have your attention yet? This will provide a more secure and reliable personal data storage solution, of course, to what? To Jasmy. And now we know that Jasmy scaling up with their Layer 2 solution. In addition to Neutrix Cloud, it is available worldwide. What is one of their top platforms? Well, the Aplix IoT platform is Neutrix Cloud. And it gets more into this outline about Neutrix Cloud in Japan specifically. And I love how NeoXTrix basically highlights some of this for us. So let's blow this up. And maybe that looks a little bit smaller, so I'm going to blow it up on the other screen. Let's do Control P or Control V. Here it is, nice and big for you guys. Getting into it. What's it say right here? Infidat. What the heck is that? Well, let's share the tab. So Infidat is Neutrix Cloud's, Infinidat, that's the right way to pronounce it, my bad, is basically this thing that started in the United States. And, you like the idea of seeing something like Jasmy teamed up with partners that even are here in the United States. I mean, we understand that they got this office going on in Silicon Valley. So they're always going to have, I guess you could say, something connected to the United States. And isn't that the whole point? I mean, one thing to focus on Japan and Southeast Asia, but you like the idea of them branching out with other key partnerships and so on for more of that widespread adoption. So for one, you do see this, Neutrix Cloud Japan Limited. They got this whole thing establishing not just in Japan as a new company, but doing just that, of bringing their services in addition to Neutrix Cloud storage services, and bringing it over, for instance, to other places, right? It says that Neutrix Cloud Japan will provide comprehensive range of cloud services such as this whole thing of compute and networking. Now, getting into this a little bit more, I'm going to show this with you. It's the next particular page in regards to the whole thing of Aplix. Let's pull this up. So on this particular one, you're going to see that, this is how Aplix was able to acquire certain technology, business split. Developed by the Jasmy team, a company created at the time by Bajit, right? Expert in the fields of WiMAX and MVNO. Now, you may be wondering, like, I don't quite understand that. And if anything, We're going to get into that here in a bit. So Aplix and Jasmy, like it says, will be the nerve center of the project with almost certainty. They, of course, had this whole thing of this endorsement in the press release a while ago. But in regards to this platinum data concept, which is something that Jasmy talks about a lot, talk about, for instance, platinum data with happiness. I know some of these things sound crazy. But, we talk about assets being backed by precious metals. Well, with Jasmy, it's like backed by platinum data, right? That concept it just sounds bizarre, but it's a cool concept when you look more into it. So for one, they're informing us of this endorsement that was featured in the press release announced today by Jasmy, or at least then, sorry, not exactly today, regarding platinum data concept. It's basically designed to utilize personal data in the data era. And it talks about the whole thing of Aplix, and basically speaking, Aplix initiates or embraces the platinum data concept. Jasmy basically has a new solution that combines both IoT and also blockchain in its concept for handling personal data. But Aplix, right, the compatibility with just that Aplix is going to provide great potential in regards to the two pairing together. And here's the statement. We believe that we believe that in order to realize this concept, Aplex's core competencies of embedded development and multi-cloud solutions will be one of the cornerstones, and new solutions will be created by combining next-generation embedded devices and technologies of both companies. The aim basically is to realize the development of this product, or the provisions, if you will, and develop and conduct demonstrational experiments, for instance, kind of like what you saw with WITS, if you've been following this. While cooperating with each other, we will continue to strengthen our relationship with Jasmy and take on the challenge of creating new IoT businesses. I think that's a big deal. Now, getting into that specific press release, so it was getting back in April 2022, a lot of people kind of let this go over their head. This is good stuff. So it comes straight from, obviously, Aplix, and it states this right here about this whole multi-cloud storage service handled by Aplix as a reseller and adopted, of course, by Jasmy, which, of course, handles IoT. So basically a collaboration. They complement each other. Like how many times have I said that lately? Here's the key highlight. And again, from Neutrix. Neutrix Cloud can easily expand PB petabytes class data and is compatible with Amazon Web Services. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, all right? Are you invested into Filecoin? And if you are invested in Filecoin, you already understand the scalability for Jasmy then. Because with Filecoin, you have that scalability where you don't have limitations on your data, especially when it comes to big data, okay? We talk about smart contracts. You have what you call smart data functionality. If you dived more into the whole thing of especially Filecoin, right? I'm not going to talk your ear off about Filecoin, but this is one of the things that really stands out about Filecoin. So what I want to draw your attention to is Jasmy basically pulls in some of that key aspects of what Filecoin has to offer. And that excites me. Because you want to know something? At one point, I used to consider Filecoin the Coca-Cola crypto. It was like a safe bet until the SEC went after it. Filecoin was also one of those that I did a power swap like many months ago. I put 8K, and in 3 days, it turned it into a 4K profit, right? I was like, heck yeah, And then I was so convinced with Filecoin, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go all in with Filecoin. Not becoming a maxi or anything like that, but I decided, you know what, if we get to previous all-time highs for Filecoin, and I see that happening again, I was like, you know what, that's like 250,000 or more just off of my Filecoin. So I said to myself, this right here caught my eye when it came to Jasmy. Because if you can use Neutrix Cloud, which apparently you can, through Aplix, and expand PB as a petabyte class data with other compatible ones such as Amazon Web Services or Azure, Microsoft Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, and have it this whole service to provide what? High performance, reliability, even at low prices. That's game changer stuff. This gets me excited because, again, back to the whole thing with Tim Shea, when he was mentioning, for example, Flux. If you ever seen the comparison, and we shared this before, and maybe you feel like you want to see it right now, but I do think Flux is a great project. But what stands out for Flux is simply price, providing the same type of value, right, for super cheap. I mean, like what is it, Tim? I think Amazon Web Services, it was like a night and day difference. It was like a 90% discount going with Flux. But when you see things like this of Amazon Web Services, this particular solution, cloud storage, in regards to how this can be expanded, was it to 1 petabyte plus, and you can also store large amounts of data with peace of mind. Again, my attitude is this tells me that Jasmy is not only recognizing the data field of what Flux provides, right, as far as like a solution to cloud storage, that price, as the saying goes, price sells, right? But they also got this thing in regards to scalability when it comes to data scalability, even from the Filecoin perspective. I think that's game changer stuff, and that's why I'm bringing it to your attention again. Even though I've done a deep dive in regards to Aplix in the past, this caught my eye. So in regards to this collaboration, what you should pay attention to, if you're into Jasmy, or maybe you're not, is that they have this collaboration that's existed since April, I guess, 2021. But the bottom line is Aplix providing multi-cloud storage services via Neutrix Cloud as an NCJ sales agent. And this whole thing of Jasmy in regards to their mission, like it says right here, to create a system platform that allows anyone to use things easily, safely, and with peace of mind. So it literally matches the motto of what Aplix is trying to do in regards to cloud storage. We all want that. Goes on to mention that since March of 2021, Aplix and Jasmy have been collaborating on joint research and development and conducting demonstration experiments with the aim of creating new IoT business, that applies to the blockchain tech, of course, of Jasmy. The two work together hand in hand. It's not, oh, we got this cool partnership and then we don't use your utility. Nope. If anything, both complement each other. Now back to the whole thing about Aplix for a second. They, of course, were launching a high-security personal data locker developed and provided, of course, by Jasmy. And basically, the bottom line is the result is Neutrix Cloud is a distributed storage for who? For your Jasmy personal data locker. So activating the cloud and utilizing the utility of Jasmy's personal data locker. Again, another perfect example. In addition to providing Neutrix Cloud to Jasmy, Aplix is providing Jasmy with support for creating and proposing system configurations and providing POC, which is called proof of concept. And going forward, they plan to continue to provide operational maintenance and system construction supporting to Jasmy as the personal data locker, of course, is rolled out. Aplix has this long collaborative relationship with both Jasmy and NCJ, and they believe that this transaction will allow, or also contribute, I should say, to building a relationship not only with Jasmy, but NCJ. And furthermore, they believe that this is a matter of, expanding the possibilities of realizing services can further improve the security of the personal information, hence the PDL, and that they will ultimately be able to contribute to creating an environment where service users can safely and securely use their personal data. Now, safely and securely use your personal data, that's utility in motion. On top of it, how about being able to have the choice of monetizing your own personal data? You don't even get that choice when it comes to the centralized entities at all. When it comes to your Apples, your Googles, your Amazon, your Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, right? You don't. But now you see the shift, at least with Google, or which is Japan. Now they're starting to get involved. What about some of the other ones? So when we talk about the disruptors, Jasmy's at the forefront. Now you even have the whole thing of Aplix also disrupting, just like how Flux is disrupting, Amazon, Google Cloud Services, and also AWS. is game changer type of technology. I think it's a big deal. Now, if you're wondering just who the heck is Neutrix Cloud, Max, can you give me an example? Can you give me a demo? You better believe I can. I'm going to play this, and this basically is going to give you the gist of Neutrix Cloud, and you're going to have an example. So I've gone ahead and fast forward to this part. I'm going to play a little bit of this, not super long, but it's basically an interview, blast from the past, live from the Cube Studios in Palo Alto, California. Appreciate Jasmy. Please smash that like. Glad to be here with you guys tonight. Thank you very much. Here we go.
Is it?
Sure. So Neutrix is a completely new offering that we come with. We are not selling here any box or appliance for the customers to deploy in their data center. We are talking about a cloud service that is provided by Infinidat. We are building our infrastructure in a major colo, partnering with Equinix and others. We are finding data centers that are adjacent to the major public clouds, such as AWS or Azure, to ensure very low latency and high bandwidth connectivity. And then we build our infrastructure there with the InfiniBox storage and the networking gear that allows our customers to really use this for two main reasons. So one use case is disaster recovery. If a customer has our storage on-prem in his data center, they may use our efficient replication mechanism to copy data and get a second copy outside of the data center without building the second data center. So in case of disaster, they can recover. The other use case that we see is very interesting for the customers is an ability to consume data while running the application in the public cloud directly from our storage. So they can do NFS mount or iSCSI mount to storage available from our cloud and then run the application. We are also providing the capability to consume the same file system from multiple clouds at the same time. So you may run your application both in Amazon and Microsoft clouds and still access and share the data.
So what is WiMAX? That's a great question. WiMAX in computer network. WiMAX stands for Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. This technology is based on the IEEE. Remember how we referenced that before with Mr. Tadashi Morita? It is used to provide higher data rates with increased coverage. It's based on manned metropolitan area network technology. Its range is up to 50 kilometers. It may provide speed up to 70 megabytes per second and can operate in non-line of sight. This technology is fast, convenient, and cost effective. You want to see some of the architecture real quick? You have convergence layer, MAC layer, physical layer. What area you want to pay attention basically is this convergence layer, because this layer provides the information of the external network, accepts higher layer data unit, PDU, and converts it to lower layer PDU. It also provides functions depending upon the services being used. I know this is a lot of the nerd talk, but it's just, again, a reference to about, what we're talking about earlier. All right, I'm gonna come out of the frame. The bottom line is this: seeing how all this technology is going to be used for mass adoption. Like the example that you literally saw from that guy, used on that previous example from Neutrix Cloud, right? From Infinidat portfolio launch. How Neutrix Cloud provides, basically speaking, some really awesome solutions. And to see Jasmy teamed up with Aplix and then have that Neutrix Cloud connection and that example that he brought you, I think it's a big deal. When we talk about mass adoption, that's just another key thing to get us to that point of where we need to be for mass adoption.